Let me know if you can still hear me. Let me know if my audio is good, everybody. So today I have this laptop in front of me because I don't want to forget any single part of this conversation. I don't want to forget any part of the resource and the questions that we have very intentionally curated for you listeners so that you know exactly what you should do, what steps to take after this show. So, welcome back, everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here, Kemfon. This is your second time on the Healthy Bants show, isn't it? Hello. Are you able to hear me? Can you say something? I'm not sure I can hear you. Okay. I think he's going to rejoin us. Guys, give us a few minutes and we will get started properly just to make sure that everybody's able to join. And let me know where you're joining from. Happy Sunday to everybody watching. Happy Sunday to everybody joining us. As I said, I will be looking down on my laptop a lot just so that we are on track. So let me know if everybody can hear me. Please, if you can hear me, Divine, Martin, hello everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, so let's get started. Everybody, welcome back to Healthy Bands with Aidi. This is your new favorite weekly show that happens right here on YouTube. It happens at 8 p.m. Nigerian time, and it is a show that is centered around the concept of a new and improved Nigeria. You know, a Nigeria that works for everybody, not just a special group of people. So, in order for you to properly enjoy this show and benefit from it, I would advise that you subscribe to this channel because there'll be a lot more free resources for you to utilize as we progress throughout the year. The idea of a new Nigeria is simply around love, family, building genuine wealth, not, I don't mean illegal wealth, but genuine wealth that can be sustained throughout generations and also can benefit us as a community, long term. So I decided that we should have these conversations on this show every week. Now, the question for today's topic is more of a question, and it is one that I would love for every young Nigerian to pay attention to. The question today is how can you, as a young Nigerian, build wealth through real estate in Nigeria? I don't mean building it somewhere else, right here in Nigeria where you are from and you have your family and everything that you love. So how are we able to do that? That's what we're going to discuss today. In order to properly give you the right information, I invited an expert in this topic, somebody who has been in construction and real estate for a long time, somebody who knows exactly what you should do in order to benefit from real estate investment. I have here with me Kemfon Decade, and I would love for him to say hello to us. Hi, Kemfon.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me clearly. My name is Kemfon Decade. It's good to be on your show, ID. Thank you for having me again. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us again because we had you last year, and I will see if I can link the previous show in the description after we're done, so that people can go. That's where you can get to know who Kemfon Decade is. We really talked about the company and why you're here and what your team, the amazing job that your team is doing in Nigeria in the real estate space. So I'm really excited that you're back. Now, for those of you who do
Thank
not
you. Thank you.
for those of you who do not know who I am, and you're probably just like, oh, well, my name is Aidi, and I am a very, very passionate Nigerian that wants to see Nigeria work, not just for a small group of people, but for everybody. Let everybody have the chance to benefit from a new and better Nigeria. As for my guest, Kemfon, I will tell you a bit more about him because that will help you understand, you know, why we're here. So Kemfon is also a very passionate Nigerian, but his passion is in construction and real estate, and he is very passionate for young Nigerians. I say young Nigerians because we are the future of Nigeria. So he's very passionate for young Nigerians to know that regardless of your tribe, regardless of your religion, you are able to benefit, to build actual wealth that will last you generations, that will help your family, that will help your community through real estate in Nigeria. Kemfon is from Akwa Ibom State, and because I'm from Akwa Ibom State, I'm really proud of that fact. So, welcome. Kemfon is currently the CEO of Decade Homes Nigeria. I am telling you, if you are interested in anything construction, if you have a dream design, like your dream residential home, or you want to build a commercial space, if you have any construction problems, questions, inquiries, whatever it is, you can turn to Decade Homes Nigeria. Decade Homes Nigeria is a trustworthy and a one-stop shop construction plus real estate management company in Nigeria. They have offices in Rio and in Abuja, so they are able to help you wherever you are in Nigeria. His team provides excellent all in one professional construction services that will literally help you build your first property from whatever design you have in your mind to when you're able to move into the property, even to help you manage the property so that it doesn't lose value, you're able to benefit from it long term. So that's why I feel very confident that he is the best person to join me today to discuss this topic, to truly break down for you to understand that you can do it as well. Real estate investment is probably the best kept secret in building wealth in Nigeria. And for so long, for so many years, a lot of people have felt the need to not indulge, not going to real estate because they did not understand the landscape of real estate. Now you have the opportunity to learn. So I would advise to get your pens and paper out, share this live with your friends and family members because I suspect a lot of you are going to make a life-changing decision after watching this show. You are going to realize that you could have been building wealth, you could have been building generating wealth a long time ago, and you just did not know how. So today you get to learn the exact way you can build wealth through real estate in Nigeria. Okay, so I hope that Nigerian connection allows us to have a smooth show. But to cover all of the basic things that you need to know, to cover all the basic knowledge that you need to go into real estate, we've prepared a list of questions. We're not limiting you to these questions alone. Feel free to drop your questions or comments, in the comment section, and we will answer all of that during the Q&A session of this show. So without further delay, I'm going to jump right into the questions. Okay? And the questions are for you to know how to invest, to know what to invest in, and to know why you should invest. Okay, so keep all of this in mind. And we'll start with the first question that I feel will open up all of this first. You know, we all talk about financial stability. We all want financial stability. Everybody talks about, I want a financially stable future. I want to be able to, you know, travel the world and do all of these things. I want to live in comfort. I want to be able to take care of my daily basic needs. But it seems as though we lack the basic knowledge in how to, you know, get into real estate. A lot of people don't have the technical skills, or they do not understand the basics of getting into real estate, and because of this, they tend to not want to get involved. They tend to not want to even try because of all the bad news and all the things that they are hearing from other people who have gone into real estate. So I hope that my guest is back soon so that we are able to talk about, or he's able to respond to this first question. I will give him a minute, and hopefully we'll have him back soon. Be patient. Learning, sometimes you have to pay in patience. You have to pay to learn. If it's going to require, you know, us fighting with connection, I think he's requesting to join again. Um, Welcome back. I was just telling everybody watching that you are. I was telling everybody watching that if we have to fight internet connection, if if we have to if we have to fight internet connection in order to get our started, we will do that. So the first question, Kemfon, to you is, why is real estate a good way to achieve financial stability in Nigeria today? Why is that? Why is that a good way to start building wealth? Guys, I'll have to bring him back on this show to have this exact same conversation. I'm not sure what's going on with connection. Hello, Kemfon, did you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Forgive me, I'm still battling with the internet connection, switching between every
You're
possible connection I can lay my hand on right now,
you're fine.
and shifting changing my location
This
and
is no, this
just
is
trying to get a
perfect.
better connection.
This is perfect. We can hear you right
Okay.
now. So let's get into it. So the question was, um, why is real estate a good way to achieve financial stability in Nigeria today? Why is that? Guys, let's be patient. One day we will overcome all of this um, connection wahala. But let's be patient, and I wish I'm able to do something to fix that. Hello, Kemfan. Are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I hope that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh my word. Hey, we must learn. We must learn how to build wealth today. I promise you. I don't care what connection does. We I don't care what connection decides to do today. We have to. We will learn today. So yes. So let's get back. Let's get back to our question. Why is real estate a good way to build wealth in Nigeria today? Hello, Kemfon. Are you? Yes. Now I can. Yes.
Okay, so um, I think your question was why one should invest in real estate.
Yes.
If I got the question correctly.
Absolutely.
All right. First of all, the network perception, like every single one of them, is not just giving us what we want.
It's fine. Is anybody else? Okay, so Esther said he can hear or she can hear. I don't know if you can hear me or you can hear my guest. Let me know. Can you hear Kemfon? Can you hear myself speak? Let me know who you can hear, so that we know what exactly we can do over here to fix this. Guys, this is just what we have to deal with when you are having a live conversation sometimes over the internet, and you have to deal with these things. Excuse me. Last week we had a pretty good run. I'm very positive that next week will be different. Every week is different, like, okay, you can hear me but you cannot hear Decade. That's a big problem because I do not have the expert answers to share with you. I I wish I could share the knowledge I know directly, but this would be a personal opinion. This would be based on my personal experience. Deckhead has professional experiences, and he can share a wealth of knowledge with you because he has dealt and seen different people, who are interested in real estate. He has seen people who have the money, has seen those who do not quite have the money. And today he is supposed to share all of that information with us. So even if you don't have the funds right now, you can still benefit from real estate investment. You know, building wealth should not be difficult. We just don't know what to do. When you don't know what to do with anything, it feels so difficult. If you do not believe me, ask your parents who are not able to operate the phone, okay? A phone that is so easy for you to figure out. Unfortunately, they just can't. So that's what we're here for. And I guess internet is fighting us because I think I think the internet quite understands how liberating this information is. So because of that, we're going to do it again. Okay, so he's requested to come back on. We will just go straight into it, okay? Just give the people what they want. We can hear you.
You can hear me, right?
Yes. Just start talking. Don't
Okay,
even apologize. Just go for it.
that's relieving. So your question was why people should invest in real estate currently.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe it has to be with for me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you. So I feel like there's several reasons why one should invest in real estate, right? Of course, we can see the economy of the country at this particular point in time. And this particular economy is nobody needs to tell you to invest in a place where your money is safe and where you're certain you're going to get returns on investment. So for me, the first reason why you should invest in real estate in the Nigeria of today is cash flow, right? You consistently need that good level of cash flow to survive in the economy of today. And I think that there's no other business, and of course, I've been involved in several other kinds of businesses. I'm currently involved in several other kinds of businesses, but there's no other business that gives you a consistent level of cash flow and gives you an edge over inflation. And of course, it's more like real estate is more like a passive form of income generating asset, because most of the time you are not the person who is going to be doing the property management or the person who is going to be doing the sales. So it gives you a consistent level of cash flow. You need not bother about inflation, right? And it's basically in most cases passive, depending on how you choose to invest. And of course, you cannot get lost with real estate. Your return on investment is very certain, right? It's not a business where you are not certain if you're going to make your money or if you're going to get your capital out. Real estate cannot be lost. Right. So I feel like if you're looking to invest in Nigeria of today, you're looking for an investment where you are certain that you're going to make a return on investment. You're certain of a consistent cash flow. You're certain that you'll not be affected by inflation. You are even certain that you'll not be affected by most economic decisions, because housing is certainly a basic need of man. So people are certainly going to want to live in houses. And I think real estate just provides the opportunity for you to make a lot of money with ease as a young person in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria.
So there you have it. If you're a young person and you're wondering, where can I put my money? This is not a conversation that our parents have with us, and because most of our parents don't even know that you can put your money in real estate and it will be a lot safer. The return will be a lot more consistent than putting your money in the bank or even putting your money in stocks. A lot of the time, you're able to get quicker cash flow, right? Because you're able to see returns faster, and you're going to see those returns increase over time, and they're going to be consistent. So it's more like you are sleeping. Passive income is money that you're making while you're sleeping, money that you're earning
Correct.
when you're not doing any actual work. So this is a golden opportunity for Nigerians. And I say this because I'm able to see the landscape in Nigeria from outside Nigeria. When I left as a teenager, I had no idea that this was a viable option until I left Nigeria, and it felt like, what are you talking about? We could have been making and building wealth since forever, but we just did not know. And it all sounded so scary. So thank you, Kemfon, for that. The next question I would love to ask is regarding opportunities, like mm, they're not exactly sure. Okay, so now they know they should invest in real estate. It's good for cash flow, it's good for long-term returns. They know all of these things now, and they're saying, well, good, where do I start from? So what specifics? Because when you say investment and you say Nigeria in the same sentence, at least recently, it sounds like you are being too optimistic or you are being unrealistic. But we know that that's not true. We know that real estate is the surest form of investing your money for your future. So, what specifics would you say is what specific opportunities would you say are available in the real estate market right now in Nigeria for Nigerians? So, say types of properties that somebody should be thinking of investing in, or best states in Nigeria to start investing in real estate, and possibly why.
All right. For me, I think that the first things you have to look at is you want to invest in real estate. You have to determine what kind of investor am I going to be, right? Am I going to be a long-term investor? Am I going to be a medium-term investor? Am I going to be a short-term investor? You decide what kind of investor you're going to be. When you've taken that decision, the next step or the next thing to do is to think on your budget. What exactly is the budget I want to invest in real estate? So, what portion of my income am I going to need to save every month, or every week, or every year, or every day to be able to meet my targets after you have decided the kind of investor you want to be? So, those two decisions are critical to determine the type of real estate investment you will do. And I'm going to speak from experience, right? Because one of the things that has been critical for us at Decade Homes is that we decided to ourselves that we are not just going to be people telling people to invest in real estate. We're actually going to invest in real estate ourselves, and then we're going to see how we fly from there. So, and I'm going to give a simple journey of how we started investing in real estate, and I think this is the path every young person or everybody who is still very uncertain about how they want to invest, I think this is the path for them to take. So there's a part of real estate called land flipping, right? Which we at Decade Home started as far back as 2015. We started land flipping, right? So you buy lands, you hold it for a certain period of time, and then you sell it. So if you do that consistently, so for instance, say my goal is to build a rental apartment. The cost of building a rental apartment in Nigeria today, for example, so this is just a random example, is say 50 million naira. And I don't have 50 million naira to build a rental apartment, right? And I want to start small because I have, say, 2 million naira. So what I'll do is that I'll take my 2 million naira, buy a land, and I'm going to flip my land, say, every 3 months or every 6 months or every 1 year. So I'll flip the first land. I bought it for 2 million naira. I'm going to sell it for maybe 4 million naira, depending on the location and depending on economic activities within that particular location, right? So I'm going to flip my land and I'm going to buy another one and I'm going to flip my land and I'm going to generate the capital I need to build my rental apartments, right? So if you want to invest and you don't have a lot of capital, I think that's the first way to go to. So there is land flipping, which is the first path that you can take, buy lands and then sell them and make your money, right? If you're a short-term investor, land flipping is the place to go. So you just buy your land, you sell your land by a period of time, and then you make your money. Then, of course, if you can take a huge level of risk, then there is the rental apartment, which in Nigeria, basically, we take yearly rent. I am aware that there are some state governments who are trying to get their tenement laws reviewed to ensure that Nigerians can pay, some Nigerians in their states can pay monthly rents, right? But if you invest in Nigerian real estate space today, most states you have yearly rent, so you could build rental apartments. And the good thing about rental apartments is that with the way the economy is going, right, the rental value is actually rising. So every single day, in fact, in the last 2 years, we have had a crazy increase. So I'm using crazy for want of a better expression right now. A crazy increase in rental value. So rental value is consistently rising. And the amazing thing is that we currently have a housing deficit in Nigeria, right? We have
There are
more people
millions of
available.
people just waiting, hoping for a home to be available. The market is
Yeah.
ripe for anybody to enjoy.
Yeah, of course. We have more people available to rent than houses available. So there's a demand and supply mismatch. So if you want to invest in real estate, this is a great time for you to look to rental real estate. And of course, I'm sure we must all have seen the data with the dirty December data with short-let apartments, right? Short-let apartment is, I mean, everybody right now wants to stay in a short-let because they can afford to cook their own food and do things differently from how they would do it. They were staying in a hotel. So the value of short-lets are currently rising. So if you're looking to invest, that's a place you might want to cast your net. And of course, for bigger kinds of investors, they are the You buy, you build, and you sell. And all of these are opportunities within the real estate space for which one can invest in at the moment.
So thank you. You've actually explained or answered my third question, which is the idea of not having sufficient funding, right? You don't have enough
Yeah.
funds, like you said, in order to build, traditionally, in order to build one property, it costs a lot of money. A lot of money that young Nigerians, unfortunately, may not have. Now, a lot of young Nigerians have benefited from, being online and earning money in foreign currency as a social media influencer. And this would be a good place for a lot of those Nigerians to redirect their funds and make sure you never lack. Basically, the, traditionally you don't have a lot of money, but if you do, this would be a great way to start. Now, if you don't have that bulk sum for you to build your property, you can still benefit from real estate. You can still go into real estate and earn money. So I suppose my question is, are there ways for investors to come together? So say if I had 2 million, I have a sister who had 2 million as well, and we wanted to go into real estate, but is there a plan like that, or does it have to be individual in terms of investing?
So I think that we have gone past, Nigeria has evolved past the stage where um, capital was the problem when it had to do with real estate investment. I feel like Nigeria has evolved past that stage. I feel like Nigerians have been able to find ways to invest in real estate. And basically, these are basic global standards, right? Um, it is even rare in some parts of Nigeria as we speak, in places like Abuja, in places like Lagos. It is even rare to see one person do all the investments in real estate. It's not, for me, it's not even a smart thing to do. You can
Right.
spread your risk amongst a lot of people, right? So the first I recommend, if you do not have a lot of capital, the first thing I recommend is look for a JV, right? You can have, so you can call it a, some people call it a joint venture, other people may call it partnership buildings, right? You
So look
can,
for
where
a
you can,
partnership. That's what you call JP.
yes, yes, of course. So I can find ID who probably has a land and is not willing to develop the land currently, and I have the resources to develop the land. I need not go looking for a land to buy and then develop. So my proposal to ID would become, look, let's I'll build on your land and we're going to sell, or probably we're going to rent. You're going to take a percentage of the rental value, or by the time we sell, we're going to split 50-50 depending on the location of the land. I feel like that allows you to spread your risk, right? And that reduces the capital outlay with which you need to invest in real estate. Personally, I don't think capital is a problem. That's number one. That's one way to go about it. The other opportunities like build, operate, and transfer. So you can decide to look at abandoned and uncompleted buildings, which we have a lot of them scattered around Nigeria. So you find an abandoned and uncompleted building, you do your bill of quantity, you look at the structures, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to complete this building, have a deal with the owner, or complete this building. This is how we are going to split our monies depending on the state of the building as at the time we decided to invest,
Mhm.
right? So there are a lot of opportunities. There's real estate investment trust where you can invest in a real estate company that is investing in real estate. So you have a
And that's something
shareholding
that
from.
Decade is that something that Decade offers.
Yeah, so right now we have a couple of buildings, particularly one where we can have people invest. We're looking at doing a lot more in 2025, right? We have a particular building where we can have people. In fact, as a matter of fact, I feel like on that particular building, we've completely we have so many people, and we may
You've
not
capped
be
out
able, yeah, yes, we may not be able to take in more people, but I mean, we have a lot of projects on the pipeline. The year just started, and we're actually even looking for people to join the network, right?
So in essence, you are saying to my viewers right now that
Yeah.
if everything they're hearing so far sounds good, and they want to get started with real estate, they could reach out to Decade Homes Nigeria, and they'll be able to sort through that. The reason why I'm saying this is so that people know they can come to you directly. If you're watching this and you want more information, you cannot reach me, you can reach Decade Homes directly. You can reach Kemfon Decade at Who is Decade everywhere on social media. You can ask your question. But beyond that, you have an opportunity here where you can actually do, you know, start your investment with a company that is already doing that, that already understands how that landscape works. So I think this is such a great opportunity. Thanks for sharing that information that people can just, instead of wanting to, find a joint partner themselves, or finding ways that they can source for funding themselves, they can come to you, to your company with whatever funding plan that they have, and you work with them to
Yeah.
get them started. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. So I just want to, before we move on to the next question, I just want to add, and there's something again that is actually really very obtainable. So it's like, I have a plan I want to develop, and I maybe want to develop a three-story building, and I do not have the resources to develop it. I
Hmm.
meet ID, and ID has the land, and my funding can take me to just do one floor.
Right.
So I come to ID's land and I build one floor, and the next person builds another floor, and the next person builds another floor. And that way, all of us, we actually own a share in the building, but we are not necessarily landowners. If I have five of that in good locations with a lot of cash flow, I think I'm good to go. So there are many ways to invest in real estate. It's not, I think capital is the least thing that anybody who is serious should be looking at right now. There are many ways depending, I mean, irrespective of how much money you have, there is just something for you in real estate. There's a way to go around it in the real estate space in Nigeria as we speak at the moment.
Again, you've heard all of it. There is enormous opportunities out there for you to utilize. You just don't know where to go. You just don't know who to talk to. You just do not know that these opportunities exist. And the thing for me, and now I'm going to segue into our next question, because let's talk about risks, right? So I believe that as an entrepreneur myself, as an investor myself, as a future millionaire myself, I would love to just say that you have to take a certain level of risks, right? For you to get a certain level of result or reward. If you're not taking risk at all, if you're not thinking of, oh, what can I sacrifice right now in order to get to where I need to go, then you're not quite ready. So, like Kemfon has said, it's not really about how much you have right now or how much you don't have. Is your mindset ready? Are you ready to say, I'm tired of playing this I don't know, this game that is not working. I'm tired of doing the same old thing that is not working, not taking me anywhere. Now you have the opportunity to take matters into your hands and to actually build the type of future you need. And I mean, in less than 5 years, you will come back on this show thanking me. Hopefully, you remember to thank me. Um, um, but yeah, so my next question is, if you so we are Nigerians, and we're in Nigeria, and because of just the way the country has been structured, we've had a lot of criminal activities. I mean, I'm not just talking of top level criminal activities that we all see. I mean, criminal activities amongst just average Nigerians who are just trying to make ends meet, and they're trying to survive. Um, how can we get around that sort of risk in Nigeria when you are talking of investing, parting with your hard-earned money? How do we get around that in Nigeria? So let's talk about the risk and how young investors can avoid those risks and difficulties in real estate in Nigeria.
All right, so I think that the biggest risk in real estate would be not even taking the risk in the first place. Actually, deciding to not invest is actually the biggest risk you can take on your life. Actually,
Amen.
um, but as it pertains to real estate, I think where people make the mistakes, and I'm going to just speak about the mistakes and connect it to as if they were risk in real estate, right? The first thing is not speaking to professionals. I feel like that's the big, in my experience, and I have been doing this for 9 years now, right? I feel like the biggest problem I have seen clients or people encounter in real estate is not speaking to professionals. The fact that you do not speak to professionals is the first mistake you are ever going to make in your real estate journey, right? The moment what we have, the way the built industry works, right? And as a matter of fact, let me just say how we structure decade homes is just the way the built industry works.
You have to repeat that. I think you broke up. Are you able to?
You have the subland surveyors who are going to do that.
Are you
I
able
didn't
to
get that.
repeat yourself? I think you.
Okay. Okay. So what I said was, I hope you can hear me. What I said was the way the built industry in Nigeria is structured is the same pattern with which we structure decade homes, particularly. So you want, and that's the same pattern every investor should take if they do not want to make mistakes and fall into traps, right? You want a land, you look for an estate surveyor, he helps you get the land. You want to survey the land, you look for a land surveyor, he helps you sort that out. You want to decide on what to put on the land, you find your architect, he helps you sort that out. Depending on the kind of property you want to build, you may need an engineer, a structural engineer. He helps you with the structures, right? And then you want to build, you need a bill of quantity, so a quantity surveyor helps you with that. And then actual execution of the building, you now talk about builders working alongside the architects and working alongside the engineers. Now, this is the complete process of real estate investment. If you skip any of these processes, you're going to fall into troubles. Because typically, what would happen would be that if you skip it at the beginning and go to quacks in the profession, right? So typically, those guys, they don't, nobody's regulating them. So they can sell to you a land that they are not supposed to sell to you. So maybe it's a government designated area. They can sell that to you and you buy the land and you run into problems. Most times these quacks do not know the zoning laws in some of these areas, right? So they sell that to you and you run into problems. Most times these quacks do not understand the building codes. So there are particular areas where governments have designated and said, look, if you're going to build in this area, you're going to build a particular kind of building. If your resources cannot match that kind of building, and then you go buy land in that area, you're going to run into problems.
Yeah.
Right? So the first thing is talk to professionals. Of course, understand the market, understand, like I said, the building codes, understand the zoning laws. And the next thing is to find out how do I get, so the most important thing is not buying the land or buying the house. The most important thing is having the title documents. So you have got to, as a matter of fact, the title document is more important than the property itself. Because if you have the property and I have the title document, I am the owner of the property that you say you own. Right? So understanding what title document is necessary for this building or this land I'm about to buy or to purchase, and then actually going through all of the processes of registrations.
Right.
Right? And all of these still ties back to talking or dealing with professionals. Right? It still ties back to dealing with professionals. Of course, you're going to do your due diligence. Due diligence is that you're going to talk to as many people as possible, right,
You're going
within
to
the
talk
space
to
where
multiple
you can.
professionals, right? Because
Yeah.
that you did
No,
it.
yeah, so I'm sometimes talking to multiple professionals may also be a problem. And I'll explain that. So if I want to build and I talk to multiple architects,
Okay.
typically is that what I have experienced in the industry in construction is that everybody has their style of construction. We're
Right.
still going to arrive at the same place, but we have different routes with which we arrive at the same place. So sometimes you talk to multiple professionals and you may run into problems. But what I'm saying is when I say talk to as many people, is that beyond dealing with the professionals, if I wanted to buy a land in a particular area, I would go to that area. I would interact with the locals within that area. I would try to know the history of this particular land I want to buy. And it's only the locals that can give you the history of this particular land. So they could tell you this place is a cultural site, right? So you do not have to deal with that. So while you deal with the professionals, which is the most important thing, you can also talk to the locals within the area which you want to invest. Have a lot of, and that is your own due diligence to do before you part away with your money. It's not so. This process is not a tedious process. It's a process
Right.
that can be concluded in a matter of days, depending on who you are working with. It can be completed in a matter of days. Really not difficult. Yeah.
So I hope people can hear me. I would just like to add to what you said. So as an architect practicing in US, I've had the first-hand opportunity to witness construction, how it's done here, and
Yeah.
I've had conversations with your team members and other architects and other people in the construction industry in Nigeria. And it seems as though, like you said, everybody has their own style and way of doing things. But the fact that they're all professionals still allows them to be um, in that space, or to be
Yeah.
able to know exactly what sort of direction you should take as a
Yeah.
investor. And doing your due diligence, like you said, is you finding out your own information, so when the professionals tell you what they know, you can compare and contrast and see, you know, who is really telling the truth. So yes, I do agree they should do their due diligence, and always looking at what a particular architect or a particular construction firm has done before, always making sure they show you the work they've done before, so you have an idea what you should expect or who you're going to be working with.
Yeah. So let me just quickly add. So when sometimes it's always risky for Nigerian startups when you want to look to the work some Nigerian startups have done before. It may be difficult to find because some people are just startups and they need jobs to actually create the experiences for themselves. For instance, when we started out, right? We didn't have the job, and some the people we spoke to sometimes kept telling us, "Look, what have you done before?" It was a huge problem for us.
Yeah.
But then, luckily, by virtue of luck and grace, we actually met with somebody who decided to take the risk on us, right? And said, "Look, okay, let's see what you guys can do. You're talking beautifully. You have
Right.
a smooth proposal. Let's go to site and see what you can do." And so people decided to take the risk on us for us to have the kind of portfolio we have. But beyond that, why I spoke to um, talking to not exactly at on every project talking to multiple professionals is that, and I'm going to use architecture for example, especially considering that you use architecture for example. There are architects here who pay attention to different things, right? There are people who are big on aesthetics. They want the house to be very beautiful. So the first thing they think of at every point in time is, look, is this space really very beautiful?
Mhm.
The people who think first about functionality, they do not care if it's a beautiful design. They just want to ensure that it's functional. Right now, I'm not speaking
That's a
to right
scary
or
thing as
wrong.
an architect, to just think of function without, like, no, I want it to be
Fine.
beautiful and functional.
Yeah, so there are people who think like that and say, look, it doesn't have to be really very beautiful. Let's make the building functional. There are people who are particular about the culture. So I have to infuse the culture of the people into my building. And there are people who try to combine all three. Now, if you interact with these three different um, um, kind of architects mentally, if you interact with the three of them, they will give you three different perspectives
Sure.
as to how the building should be. So it's best that you sit down with one person, provided you can trust the person. Of course, people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So
Right.
provided you can trust the person, trust the opinion of the person, and I mean, you were great to fly from there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you are enjoying this show, please share the link with your friends and your family members. Share it on your Facebook timelines. Share it everywhere. Tell everybody about what we're talking about and why they should come and learn. So, the next question would be directed at current and future landlords. So, current people that are already owning houses and renting them out or
Yeah.
selling, and future ones that hopefully would join or will start their journeys after this show. So, my question would be, what is your advice to these landlords, whether they have one property or 10 properties or 100? What would be your advice to them so that they can maximize their profits, like from all of these investments long term? What would be your advice?
So, I mean, it's one thing to actually acquire real estate, it's another thing to make money off the real estate. So it's possible. As a matter of fact, I saw there was a few, I think last month or sometime in November, I saw a trending tweet where someone said they would never invest in rental real estate in Nigeria and that it's completely a waste of time and all of that. And personally, when I see trending stuff like that, I do not jump on it because I don't know the purpose for
The
which the person put out
story,
the tweet. Yeah,
exactly.
so but I feel like it's one thing to own real estate, and then it's another thing to actually make money off real estate. And it's very simple. You make money by proper management, right? You also make money by understanding the market. If the demand in a particular area is, for instance, using Nigeria, if the demand in a particular area is say two-bedroom flats,
Mm-hmm.
and you go to that area because you just want to invest in real estate and you build um, self-contained
Studios,
apartments.
yeah,
Yeah, you build studio apartments, right? You're actually not going to make money
right.
because the demand in that particular space is two-bedroom flats.
For families.
So, but people just, yeah, yeah, multi-family buildings, right? So, but people just go and say, I want to invest in real estate. So I hear that people are buying here and things are happening here. So boom, I'm going to invest it, right? I have seen people who have come to me and said they want to build a residential apartment in a commercial area. So I don't know how you want to build a residential apartment in a place where factories are and people are running their generators every day and heavy machines and heavy duty equipment are running every day. People literally cannot live there.
They have to
So
do
it's either
that.
you,
Tomorrow they can blame the government for their bad decisions.
yeah, of course, we always have it. It's typical in Nigeria. We always have the government to blame, right? Because the government is not doing one or two things right, and then you automatically blame them for every
For
single thing.
everything.
So there's always an escape route with the government. But the point is that you essentially have to understand the market, right? And as a landlord, or existing landlords or would-be landlords, you understand, look, should I be investing in this particular place? At what time should I be investing? And what kind of investment am I going to be doing in this particular place? Right? And then that determines the entire trajectory of where am I buying my land and all of those, right? So for me, it's first understanding the market, seeing where the market is going, and positioning yourself adequately where the market is going. And then it now boils down to property management, which for me is the most important factor in real estate.
Absolutely, I
Acquiring real
agree.
estate is yeah, acquiring real estate is one thing. Being able to manage real estate to give you consistent cash flow is another thing. I feel like the entire essence of real estate is consistent cash flow without stress. That's my personal and I think my company definition of real estate. Consistent cash flow without stress. If it stresses you, there's something wrong in the process.
Mhm.
Right? So property management is key. If tenants are not staying in your property and they're leaving every time, there's something wrong in the process. If you're investing and you're not making money out of it, there's something wrong with your management. And management is key. So, would be landlords and current landlords ensure that the management of your property actually works. That's where the money is. The money is in the management, not in the purchasing, not in the selling, is
Mhm.
actually in the management, right? Even in the cost of sales. So let's say I'm investing in real estate and I want to just build and sell. right? Or what we call renovation real estate. Pick a building, renovate it, and sell it, right? In your sales process, you need an effective negotiator, right? To be able to look at the market and say, this property is valued at this particular amount, or wait, don't sell right now because there's a fluctuation in the market. So do not sell at this moment, give it the next 2 months or 3 months, right? And that, of course, is still property management,
Yeah,
right? So it boils down to how do I manage my real estate to be able to get the results that I am looking for. And for us at Decade Homes, we are absolutely big on property management. We are absolutely big on property management. I think that beyond construction, which we like to see functional and beautiful and cultural reflective buildings, right? We're actually really very big on property management because I mean, without that, there's no money being made. Yeah.
absolutely. I completely agree with you. I know we're getting towards the end of our show, and hopefully we'll have time for other people to ask questions. I have not even checked the comments to see. Someone said, "Great insights. Thank you so much, Kemfon." Because I do agree with you. So for me, when not just being an architect, because a lot of architects don't care about what happens to your building once they've given you the design. Like that's your problem. That's your family business. Go and deal with it, right? That's not really in our job description to design and manage it for you. So if you're just talking to an architect, yeah, sure, they will give you a beautiful building, but some of the things, the components that goes into that building needs repair and maintenance and all that to keep it beautiful and people wanting to live there. Now, when I moved to Ukraine, when I left Nigeria, moved to Ukraine, one of the biggest things that shocked me that I thought this is where we've been missing it, and I don't just mean in real estate, it's every aspect of things in Ukraine is maintenance, their maintenance culture. It was one of the biggest things that I took back with me. I thought, if only we can maintain the things we already have. We do not have a healthy maintenance culture, and that's where real estate management comes in. There's so many estates that we grew up seeing that if you go there today, it's like, the value has completely declined. Nobody wants to move in there because it's like, it's now living off of its past glory. Meanwhile, a little bit of revamping, a little bit of real estate management would completely give that a new life, and it would be, it would give it like a facelift. But people don't think about that. So I think I'm grateful that your company is able to manage that. So even if a person did not start out with you, they can still bring their property and say, "Hey, guys,
Yeah, of
help managing it." Um,
course.
I think that's such a great service because
Yeah,
people can afford to be landlords without living in Nigeria or without living in a particular state, and they can still
yeah,
have properties to manage.
of
So
course.
I think it's brilliant. But my next question is compliance with government. When young Nigerians hear about government, especially what happened October 20th, right? We don't want to deal with the in fact, when you talk about government, governance, and young Nigerians don't want to hear it. It's annoying. It's take it away from me. However, for you to be a real estate investor, for you to be a landlord, a property owner, in any country in the world, you have to deal with the government. You just cannot afford not to. So instead of seeing it as a negative thing to deal with the government, I think we should sort of maybe give young Nigerians a bit of hope that it's not always complicated to deal with the government. Obviously,
Yeah,
if somebody in the government is out to get you, there's not quite much you can do about that. But in most cases, the government is not out and trying to get you if you are doing things the right way. So this is where government and compliance comes in. How do young Nigerians, how do we mitigate that whole process of compliance so we prevent problems in the future?
yeah. So this that question is a very great question because currently in Nigeria, as it pertains to real estate, there's been a lot of news from Nigeria's capital Abuja as it pertains to real estate, and um, a lot of things are just literally happening in Abuja. And this is where it is for me. I feel like the government, the real estate sector is not in my opinion, heavily regulated as by the government as I think it should, actually. I know that there are zoning laws, the building codes that sometimes we don't adhere to, sometimes we adhere to, and all of that. Of course, the biggest document that governs land transactions in Nigeria is the Land Use Act, right? There is that, and each state has their own tenement laws and all of those other laws in each state, right?
Yes.
But this is it. If you want to invest in real estate, I think it's really very simple. Let's take buying of a land, for example. I want to buy a land. So there has to be a power of attorney, right? Or a contract of sale, or any name you want to call it, right? Your lawyer might choose to call it. So what that does is that it shows that this person has transferred the title to this land from himself to me.
That person.
Basic document, right?
Yeah.
If that land was surveyed, right, the person has to give me his survey plan, and I'm going to meet with his surveyor and do a change of title. Basic, right? Which is what you should be looking for.
Yeah.
If the land wasn't registered with the government, which in most cases in most Nigerian states, most people buy lands and do not get it registered with the government. As far as you do not have that title document in your hand, the property is not yours. As far as you do not have the title document in your hand. And this basically has nothing to do with the government. It just has to do with some Nigerians refusing to comply with basic laid down policies.
Because that becomes a problem with the future. So
Yeah.
if I were to buy a property and I do
Yeah.
not get the title, and you have the title, but for some reason you don't want to have to go file it with the government or go to the agencies, that becomes a problem for me because the government, whenever they realize that that has happened, they will have a problem with me, not necessarily the guy who sold it to me because he has the title. So
Yes.
wow.
So you remember that all lands belong to the governor,
Hmm.
right? So the governor is giving you the land to transact with for 99 years.
Yes.
Right? So the governor has to give you the land, and the governor is giving you the land through a C
The
of O.
government, let's say the government, because some people might think, after the
Okay, okay,
new governor comes in,
okay.
that's it. No.
So if I were governor of my state today, and I give you a C of O, right? Anybody who becomes and you become governor of this state tomorrow, right? You cannot necessarily just revoke my title to the land without providing that it has to be for the sake of public interests.
Right.
So you probably want to build a school there, you want to build something of public interest on that particular property, and you are bound to pay compensation for it.
Hmm.
Right? Of course, compensation may not be ever adequate, but you are bound to
Right.
pay compensation for it. So, as an investor, you look out for the title documents. If the previous owner did not have those documents, the moment you buy that land, you have that contract of sale, you have that power of attorney, you begin to do the necessary registrations. Right? The moment you are done with that registration, the government has no problem with you. Right? Say at the point where you want to develop, and I'll give you an instance that I read about happened in Port Harcourt. Someone was given permission by the government to build 2 stories, for example. I think it was about 5 stories, 4 stories he was supposed to build, or he said he was going to build. And only for the government inspection team to go to his place and see that he was building more than what they approved for him to build. And the question is,
They thought they would not
why?
notice, just what is a few
Why
months.
would you do that? Why would you do that? And the government is saying, look, we know this soil, we tested this soil, and it can only carry this level of load.
Exactly.
So the extra you are adding on it is putting everybody's life at risk. And we cannot allow you to go ahead with this particular building.
Yeah.
Right? And at that point, you can't blame the government for doing their job because they're actually doing their job.
They are
So the
to
government,
protect public interest.
of course, the government right now is not regulating rental value. The government buildings are literally overpriced in Nigeria, and the government is not regulating that. The government is not saying don't sell at any amount of money you want to sell. Like I said, buildings are overpriced, lands are overpriced, right? And the government is not regulating it. The government is just saying get the proper documentation for the land or for the property you were buying. So I do not think that, just to answer your question directly, I do not think that there's a lot of government regulation and so much processes you have to go through, right? Just get your land, do what the government says you should do, register your title, and then follow the building codes for each area you decide to invest in, and then fly. Ties us back to our earlier conversation about talking to professionals or perhaps talking to decade homes. I think that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have done, I will keep saying it. I've done a personal project with Decade Homes. I completely trust the, I mean, hey, I'm not just speaking as an architect, but the work you are doing in Nigeria, making sure
Mhm.
that if I just have the idea to build, if I just have the money to start, I do not
Yeah.
need to go through all of the hassle because your company literally takes on all of these services. So you go to one place, you go to your office, you go to Decade Homes, and you get all of these services. You don't have to run
Yeah.
around trying to make sure that you are in compliance. Decade Homes makes sure that you are in compliance because
Yeah.
you know they are in business for the good reason. So this is really great information. I hope that we're able to keep having it and keep encouraging people. And maybe a few months down the line, we can come back and share the journey of other Nigerians who decided to take
Yeah.
the opportunity. So this is really good stuff. Now the last part is a bit more not necessarily a question but putting you on the spot almost to ask, is there a place, is if I wanted to get started today, if I my family members we decide, you know what, guys, we're tired of being broke, we're tired of waiting for something to happen for us. We want to get started today. Okay. Where can we go? Where can we go to say, let's sign up, let's write down my contact. You guys call me back and let's get started on this conversation. Because I don't want it to only end here on YouTube. I don't want it to just end online. I truly, truly wish that people understand that it's never been this easy because you've never had this access to a group of professionals in one place that allows you to thrive in your investment. So if you're not taking advantage of this, bruh, I don't know what to say to you. But
So
yeah.
so I'm going to start with where you can find us, and I'm going to end with why you should find us, right? So where you can find us, I think that for people on this, okay, I'm going to share a link with you after this to where people can reach out to us. But beyond the link, we are on every social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're literally everywhere. Decade Homes NG, right, across all social media platforms, and then our websites, Decade Homes NG, um, .com and all of that. So you can find us on those platforms. Reaching out to me personally on all my social media handles. My name is Who is Decade, so you can find me on at Who is Decade and all across all my social media handles. So send a DM. We have a group of people who are 24 hours waiting to reply to your DMs. But I'm going to share a link with you to our website so people can just drop, and then you would have an instant response from our team. But let me speak to the why just before I allow you to speak. And I feel like when we started real estate, right, and when we decided we're going to do the things that we're doing currently, for me, it wasn't passion, right? It really was not passion. I came into the space clearly to make money out of the space.
Well, you had
Literally.
passion to make money. That's passion.
I'm speaking to passion as to passion for real estate. The idea was not passion for real estate. The idea was to make money, right? And I sat back and I looked at what are the basic needs of man. I think it's housing, clothing, right? Shelter, clothing, and food. I wasn't going to do food, right? I wasn't going. I just decided that okay, real estate is something I was going to do, right? And I knew from the beginning that I wasn't going to go into real estate alone. So what I did was find my people who were in the built industry because I knew from the beginning I wanted to build a one-stop spot, right? Where you just come in and we have estate surveyors, land surveyors, urban and regional planners, and everybody who can take you through the entire process. So all you need to do is come to us and tell us what you want to do. The rest is our headache. To
Right.
find the space to fit into what you want to do, to ensure that the laws are clear with what you want to do and everything, ensure that the construction is smooth. That's our headache to do. And then we brought in our team together. And as with the entire challenges within the industry, getting ourselves to run this business and scale the business, it moved from just making money to actual passion. I think that was where passion now came.
Mm.
The initial part, I think for most people, is passion and then they come in. For me, it was make money, and then I became passionate about it.
Right.
And at the point of passion, I didn't want to tell people when our company pivoted from just land sales and management into construction as well, when we brought in the construction guys and decided to do construction, I wasn't going to tell people something that I wasn't doing. When we were just selling lands, we ensured that we were also buying lands.
Mhm.
So when before we tell you invest in a particular place, we had already gone ahead of you to make investment in that particular space. So we're going to be speaking to you not from head knowledge, not from textbook knowledge, but from experience.
Absolutely.
Because we've gotten lands in those areas, and then we can tell you, look, if you're in this particular city, this is where to go.
Mhm.
If you want to invest in this kind of real estate, tourism or hospitality, this is where to go because we made those land investments. And when we decided we're going to go into construction, brought in our construction team and all that, we said we're going to build. So when we are telling a client, look, you need to do this and this for your building to come out in this particular way, we're not going to be speaking from head knowledge or from textbook knowledge. We're going to be speaking from experience. So when a client says to us that, look, is there any way we can go around this? We're going to be telling the client, well, we have tried it before,
It
and
helps.
this was the result we had. Are you sure you are prepared for this result?
Yeah.
Right? Or if a client says to us, I need to use cheaper materials, we'll tell you, look, we have used it before. This is how it works. This is the advantage. This is the disadvantage, if any. This is what we think. We're going to be speaking from experience. And so for me, our real estate journey in Decade Homes has completely been that of experience. We will not tell a client to do something that we haven't done,
Yeah.
right? And that is it. That is it for me. My passion around real estate, or what has now developed to be a passion, is that look, cash flow. I don't see any other reason why you should be investing in anything that does not give you consistent cash flow without loss. Consistent cash flow without any loss. Real estate cannot be lost. You can literally start today and end. So typically, let me give you an example of what's happening in Nigeria. Someone built a house 10 years ago, right? And is charging a particular amount of money from this house. So let's say, for the purpose of this conversation, he built a self-contained apartment, and 5 years ago he was charging say 150,000, right? So he built it 5 years ago, or maybe he built it 10 years ago. For that period of time, for the last 5 years, he's charged 150,000. And right now the economy is neither here nor there,
Right.
right? And the people who are building houses today are pegging their rental value at 500,000.
Yes.
All that fellow needs to do is wake up the next day, write to his tenant and say, okay, my new rent is now 500,000. That's
Yeah.
all he needs to do. There's
Without
nobody
any
regulating him.
upgrades to the building,
Nothing.
without anything.
Absolutely nothing. So there's nobody regulating the space. There's nobody telling him don't increase. He just increases his rent. He has derived so much value from his house over the last 10 years. And he's now increased it today to match the reflection of the present economy today. And if the economy doesn't get any better tomorrow, he's going to increase it tomorrow again and all that. And I mean, that can only happen in real estate, right? Literally, that can only happen in real estate, right? So I feel like consistent cash flow without recording any loss is the reason why I could literally sleep and beg people to invest in real estate. It's the easiest path, in my opinion. In my opinion, speaking as somebody who has been involved in other ventures, is the easiest path to creating lasting wealth. That's my opinion of real estate.
Yeah, you've said all of it. Really, I have nothing else to add except to say that building wealth, should be accessible. As a child, I always thought that Nigeria was such a blessed country, but it did not really occur to me just how rich and wealthy we were until I left Nigeria, and and sometimes it takes these things to happen to you before you can truly appreciate what you have in your homeland. So,
Mm.
building wealth should be accessible to every single Nigerian. It should never just be exclusive to the elite. And it saddens me because we don't have these conversations in our churches. We have so many of our, at least in Akwa Ibom State where I'm from. I remember growing up, nobody talks about building wealth as a church. No, you have to be humble and you have to be poor and you have to keep disturbing God for all of the provision that He's already provided for you. But God forbid you use your brain, right? God forbid you actually do your due diligence and talk to the right people and at least have some interest, have some knowledge that you can make decisions off of. And this is really what wealth building is all about. What decision are you making? When are you making that decision? Who are you talking to? Who are the people? What kind of conversations are you having? If you're talking to people who are very negative about investments because they probably haven't tried it before, or they've heard of somebody else's story and they have no idea on the background, they are very negative about investing because they have no clue or they've tried it the wrong way and all they know is that it's bad. So I'm very, very conscious of that. And I think the more we start having these conversations and encouraging Nigerians to know and see that it's possible, it's possible for you, it's possible for me, it's possible for every single one of us. And the more we do that, the better for us as a community, as a society. So thank you so much, Kemfon, for joining me again. This was such a
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I think I just need to, before I go, I think I just need to say one word to your friends in the US, right? And your friends outside of Nigeria. I feel like, look, they should understand that there's a problem here, right? And the problem is that we're really, really having a housing deficit in Nigeria, right? People want to, so that this happening at two levels, right? There are no houses, then there are houses that people cannot afford, right? So I think that we need investors who are willing to look in the direction of maybe affordable housing, and we need investors who are even willing or ready to invest in the real estate space. There's a huge, huge housing deficit, and the thing is that these are things that you will not see online. People will not come and talk about the fact that they cannot afford houses. People will not talk about the fact that they do not have houses, but I can tell you assuredly, as a player in this industry, from Akwa Ibom to Abuja and breaking out in Port Harcourt as well, there's a huge, huge housing deficit. And for us who play in this space, sometimes we do not have totally all the amount of resources we need to do the things we really want to do when we realize there's a problem. So we're looking for partners, we're looking for bold investors who can come into the space. And this is for your friends or our friends who are outside of Nigeria. There is an opportunity here to not just um, throw in your money. There's an opportunity to actually make wealth. There's an opportunity to help while making wealth. There's opportunity for investment. And I think that I can say this clearly enough. Real estate provides that opportunity. And we hope to see more people outside of Nigeria decide to invest in real estate back home to give us not just a helping hand over here, but to ensure that they make their money.
They will. If I have anything to say about it, Nigerians outside Nigeria will surely have and own properties in Nigeria. I don't know how exactly I'm going to achieve that, but I promise to not shut up about it. It's really sad because it's good news and bad news. The fact that we have a housing deficit in Nigeria. It's really good news for those who have the money to build these houses and to provide. All you have to do is provide the accommodation, and this is yours for life. This is remains in your family, remains there for your children to enjoy. So it should not even be a matter of for I think it should not even be a matter of trying to convince anybody with eyes to see the opportunities that there is that Nigeria presents. It doesn't stop you from traveling the world and living your life, but it allows you to create two things: wealth for yourself and your generation, and you create an opportunity for another person, another family, to have a place where they can call home. That is really all what people are looking for. If you can provide that solution and at the same time selfishly make money year in, year out, it's a win-win situation in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
So
It is.
I hope that people are truly able to see the enormous opportunities here. And this is not even just for my friends outside Nigeria. If you are in Nigeria, if you have access to, you're working remotely and you have access to a better currency that is in Nigeria, and you have a good exchange rate right now. This would be a golden opportunity for you to take advantage of. So don't wait for those abroad to come and build the things you want to see. Don't wait for others to come and do it for you, for us. We have to take building Nigeria serious. Building Nigeria really just means building real estate. That's what makes up the structures in the country. So um, I'm excited that we are having this conversation. So let's see if we have any questions. There are no questions from my end. Um, I think we covered all of it, but I think we covered all of the aspects that we needed to share. So now that everybody has heard it, you've heard it here firsthand. Take advantage of this opportunity. Don't let me come back here and remind you guys. Okay, do what you have to do. Reach out to me. Reach out to Kemfon at Who is Decade. Reach out to Decade Homes Nigeria and start your wealth building journey today. It's been so wonderful hanging with you, and thank you, Kemfon, for joining me. I think we've come to the end of our show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I look forward to being on your show again. I'm beginning to enjoy it. Thank you so much.
You're just beginning to enjoy. I'm sorry. What? This is literally the best show in the world right now. And I feel very proud as a Nigerian to be anchoring this. And hopefully, we can start to pivot away from all the negative press that Nigeria receives inside Nigeria, honestly. It's like when we leave Nigeria, we're all perfect and we're all excellent and good. But for some reason, we cannot duplicate that same excellence in Nigeria. There's a problem. So I'm excited to be doing this. Thank you again for joining me. Have a wonderful week.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Okay, let me try and end this one right now.